Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the north corner of the map, playing in blue, we've got Vanderdorf, playing as the Japanese. And his opponent in the south, playing in red, we got Blue, playing as the Jeanne d'Arc faction. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia, that is the map for today, and well, a great civilization mashup. The Japanese versus Jeanne d'Arc. Jeanne d'Arc probably going to be looking to be aggressive. I mean, it's something they do well. We'll have to see. Japanese can often deal with that themselves. Very flexible civilization, going out to stone right now, and maybe looking to get the second tier upgrade to the town center, Daimyo Manor. Maybe even a second town center. We'll have to see how Vanderdorf plays this one out, because no doubt about it that the Japanese are going to be under pressure today. Usually expecting a royal knight early on for Jeanne d'Arc's faction. Curiously on food rather than on mining gold. Often we see Jeanne more of a miner than a food gatherer. In any case, she's got a long journey ahead of herself. Whether she decides to become a hunter or a woman-at-arms remains to be seen. Yeah, quite a lot of villages on stone. Now, we do see a typical build, by the way, to get both Daimyo Manor and a second town center. It does allow the Japanese to scale that economy and do start to really start printing out those units. Sort of 15, 17 minute mark, that kind of thing. Depending if they choose to go to the castle age or not. But certainly with the Dry Arabia map, I'd love to see these two civilizations in action. A nice bit of back gold, though, for the Japanese, although it's quite a distance away from the town center, I've got to say. Feels a little bit more than it usually is. Especially when you've got knights floating around, it could be tricky. Oh, no mining camp. Or no forge, rather, I should say. Was that purposeful? Interesting, that's actually purposeful. Okay, looks like we've got a different build on our hands, because it means that obviously, because the Japanese, by the way, as you know, most likely, they do gather gold even when they gather stone, and vice versa. So for every 10 stone gathered, you get 2 gold dropped off there, as you can see. And vice versa. For every 10 gold gathered, you get 2 stone. Just getting what he needed there, it seems, to get to that next tech up at a decent time. There's that school of cavalry being built only with Jeanne, and she's going to get a lot of XP doing that. Now, speaking of the map, plenty of gold on the west side, I gotta say. The primary gold and the secondary gold for Jeanne on the west. Got massive 8,000 gold vein there as well, and everything does seem to be a little bit skewed towards the west side of the map. So possibly, especially with the neutral wood line, so we're probably expecting both players to kind of go to that direction. You can see the sacred sites as well. Very much on the west side. It's going to be the Cura Storehouse, the landmark of choice for Vanderdorf. No real surprises there, by the way. Seems like the Cocker Township needs a bit of a boost in some way, because it's overwhelmingly the vastly most popular choice here. On open maps, on non-hybrid maps, it's got to be the Cura Storehouse. Free farms? What's there to not like about free farms? But certainly it's going to be a second town center build. You can see the reliance on straggler trees. Question is, where does he build that? Like, he could build it here on the gold, and that protect the gold and farms on the Cura Storehouse. There's always an option. It does make wood a bit of an issue, right? Could get some palisade walls to deal with that, though, because it's pretty easily walled up here. Should be okay on that front, but we'll need to get there quickly because, well, the School of Cavalry is nearly done. It will take about 30 seconds, though, after that is done to get a knight on the field. And the knight would have to make his way across, so it's probably enough time. Now, speaking of time, now's probably a nice time to say a very big thank you for everyone on YouTube and on Twitch. All the support you guys have been giving on the channel, it's all super appreciated. Age of Empires 4 is in a good spot at the moment. And I think so is my enjoying of the casting. I've certainly been enjoying it. Now, I will actually be looking to branch out a little bit. Not on this channel. I've set up different channels for it. On Stormgate and Zero Space that are coming out soon. So if that's something that interests you, maybe if you're on YouTube, drop down to the bottom of the homepage and it'll show you my channels there. Like affiliated channels, if you like. Jeanne going to be moving further forward now. Maybe looking to get a little bit extra HP. Well, I mean XP, I really mean. Maybe to go out to the boar. Now, that's actually something that's been nerfed recently with the Jeanne d'Arc faction. She used to get 50 XP. Now she only gets 25. Makes the leveling up a little bit more slow. There's that second town center actually going to be going on between the wood lines. That's going to protect that economy, at least in terms of wood. Got to be careful about the gold, though. Might need to get an outpost or two, considering. It's likely to be a knight or two on the field. Wait, what? Nothing queued up just yet. Gonna go for a second town center first. Okay, fair enough. So I'll be pretty okay with that gold income for a short term. Gonna be going on the deer camp. So gonna be second town center versus second town center, which does mean the game's gonna be a little bit quiet for a while, guys. But I tell you what, when we get this sort of situation, when it does mean give it 10-15 minutes and we should start to see a really big escalation of army sizes. And there it is, Jeanne single-handedly taking down a boar. Holy moly. That 10 plus damage on huntable animals certainly helping out. Continues her journey. Now bear in mind, Jeanne d'Arc, unlike the French, do have to spend the whole 20 seconds to train a villager. The French only 18. It does mean the Japanese will keep up. I mean, in many ways, I think I kind of favour the Japanese in this situation, because like 2 town centre versus 2 town centre, especially when you factor in possibly the next upgrade coming in, the Daimyo Manor, their farms are going to be boosted up a little bit. Be better farming gathering rate. Having said that though, Jeanne is probably going to be relying on the external sources of food, the deer camps, and the boar. Jeanne making her way across the map. Vanderdorf has got most of the map explored so far. Okay, we're not switching popular player profiles, unfortunately, because what I did is I made the colors blue and red, just because obviously we do have some viewers that are colorblind, so it makes it a bit more difficult if the colors are too similar. But it does leave a bug on the spectator, so if you switch player, it kind of switches the color as well, which is very awkward. So just to explain that situation that just happened there. But wait, I mean, is that going to be a third town center for Jeanne? It is. Okay, going to go on the deer camp on the west side. It's going to protect the food and the gold. Pretty greedy, I gotta say. That's actually kind of curious to see. Because the Japanese, when they get online in terms of military production, it can be scary at times. Wait. It's going to be a third town center as well for Vanderdorf. Both players booming away quite heavily. Holy moly. I don't think I've seen this kind of playstyle for a long time from both players as well. Well, okay. Maybe it won't be quiet for a short term. It might be quiet for a while, guys. Strap yourselves in. Once it does get going, it will get going. Gotta get some palisades as well. This is something unexpected, I gotta say. Wheelbarrow is in for Baloo. It means the migration of the villagers happen a little bit quicker. Looks like the Japanese gets that third town center a little bit quicker. And got the second town center as well, so ahead by 4 villagers. Actually a sizable amount when you factor in the sizes of the economies. Gonna get a farmhouse on the boar to get that food, which Jeanne so kindly killed for the Japanese. Gonna be denying that wall. Not a single unit. As I say that, though, the French Royal Knight does come out, the first one. And it looks like we'll deny the walls, by the way. Just to be a bit of a pain in the butt. Vanderdorf spots it, though. Oh, gonna try and get a wall around. Will it work? I'm not so sure. Yeah, I just moved out in the time there. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong segment, my dude. You gotta get on this one. On the west one, maybe. Oh, that was walled up, that's why. Torches it down. Wait. The villagers will get the walls out, but that's gonna be 2 dead villagers, so that's fine. I think Baloo's happy with this. Jeanne's going to get on top of that as well. Wait, where's the knight? Well, the knight just ignored it. Went the wrong way. Uses the Holy Wrath ability. Ah, that's a bit of an oversight there. If the knight was in the right spot, there would be 2 dead villagers, but it looks like instead it's just going to be 1. He does escape there in the end. First blood has been drawn, and it comes on the sword of Jeanne d'Arc. Getting a barracks, so units going to be popping out soon, you feel. Those looking to get that castle age, you can see a lot of food coming in. And I do love the castle age Japanese, by the way, for many reasons. Primarily because of the floating gate landmark gives them access to the Yorishiro that can be deposited in either buildings like the forge, or any building really. Gathering a bit of a boost with those buildings, and then also maybe getting it into production builders to make the production speed faster by 200%, no less. Can really start to pump out a lot of units. Now, Guild Hall being built by 18 villagers. 15 rather. That's going to be a quick time. But it is having to back away in the gold. Oh, this is a bit rough, right? We kind of expected this to be an issue. We didn't expect it to be right now, though. We did feel that gold was a little bit exposed. It has to back away. It has enough gold for the tech up, though. And does have access to gold, I think, down in the southern area, possibly here. Has an option to go there too. But it's definitely a nice play here by Jeanne d'Arc to try and deny that gold. And going to keep the farms idle as well. Bear in mind the Japanese, with the nerf on the Kura storehouse, used to actually be able to garrison 8 villages inside of it. Only can garrison 4 now. But overall, long term, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for Van der Dorf as long as he doesn't lose villagers. He just keeps them in just in time. Good value from just a few units, I gotta say, for Baloo. Now, if you aren't aware, I believe Baloo is Numadan, so you might find me might hear me saying Numadan instead of Baloo sometimes. So Numadan is playing in red, also known as Baloo. Triple stable, holy moly! Now he's in the castle area. He's gonna absolutely pump out those knights. Oh, trying to get the floating gate landmark. Does get it up in the end. And thankfully he had the spearman in play. Yorishiro pops out again, instantly with a Shinto priest. Now bear in mind the Shinto priests have to carry them. Deposit in the forge, which does mean it will get gold trickling in. 75 gold per minute, to be exact. Kind of similar to a relic. An outpost coming in the south. This is an issue. I mean, kind of back away for now. Wait. Villagers are idle there. Is there boar? Are they? I think they just probably finished the boar there. Quite possibly. In any case, I'm sure those villagers will be reallocated. Going to be getting a Shinto shrine. What's those relics now? This is where it's becoming a little bit interesting for the Japanese. A little bit difficult for them to get control of the map. Yeah, there is still boar there. A nice bit of denial there by Numadan, I gotta say. Oh, going to be hacking and slashing a couple of villages. We'll lose one. Oh, maybe not. He retargeted there for some reason. Managed to survive with the villager. There is a spearman. Pushing away the knights. Doesn't want to fight too much underneath the town centre, although the veterancy upgrade, it won't be too bad for him. Attacking the gold. Jeanne using the Holy Wrath ability. Great effect on that. Look at the HP on those guys. Severely diminished because of the ability. It's kind of a tricky situation for Van der Dorf, I've got to say. Because with the tech up to the castle age, with Numadan getting there a little bit quicker, does have a lot of map control and could be able to get some relics behind that. Having said that, one of the relics is in for Van der Dorf, in the clutches at least. Holy Wrath ability goes on the spearman, does snipe a villager on that gold vein. Heads back out there. But gold is certainly an issue for Van der Dorf. Hasn't been able to protect it all that much. Does have a spring on a placement in the outpost, which is certainly helping, but more villagers might go down. There's a good raiding value, and that little bit of early lead in villager numbers that Van der Dorf had is slowly being charmed away, and these kind of fights that he's not winning is giving XP away to Jeanne. And villagers do have to migrate. This is great pressure by Numadan, I gotta say. Van der Dorf struggling to keep these units alive and hasn't been able to stabilize gold income. It's got gold in the north now. Oh, villagers on stone. Maybe looking to save up for a keep possibly, although that won't be likely because the Japanese don't get keeps in the castle age. Villagers back away from berries. I mean, overall, this is good defense by Van der Dorf. Could be a lot more expensive, a lot more costly. He's kept his units alive for as long as he possibly could. Dealing in difficult circumstances. Uses the Wallow just to push those units back. Building up a number of spearmen, but the number of knights flooding in is actually really scary. I gotta say, oh, he's gonna pick off a couple though. He's not paying attention here, Numadan. Oh, that's rough. That is really rough. Champions come out for Jeanne. Now, these champions have been nerfed a little bit in terms of their armor. Will it be enough, though? On the Mush is a nice addition. Basically, crossbowman on horseback. Doesn't really feel like he's got enough here. Van der Dorf has to back away. He's got to build up more numbers. Going to take a good trade against a knight or two. Jeanne rides away, and I think Van der Dorf is microing this pretty well, actually. He's focusing specifically on weak knights. Charges coming out for Numadan. Going to focus on villagers for now, but he's going to start to overwhelm. He made the best of a bad situation there, Van der Dorf, with the spearman numbers he had, but it isn't enough to fully push that way. Yeah, he's on stone so he can get the upgrades to his town centers. And it's got the Daimyo Manor upgrade. That will certainly be a big boost to the food economy. You can see that 1,200 food coming in. Does have a significant number of villagers on it as well. Oh, over on stone here, Baloo. This is a smart play. We're seeing this a lot happen actually in more recent games in Age of Empires 4. Players with map control are starting to venture out to get the mid-map resources. We are seeing games actually extend to the stages of the game where actually resources in the mid-map start to get exhausted quite quickly. And so it's a nice little bit of detail here that Baloo's doing. Slowly but surely gathering that stone, which is not really directly his for the taking. It should be challenged. Of course though, it's difficult to challenge when you've got massive knights in your base, which obviously Vanderdorf has had for a while now. Looking to get the sacred sites. And it's got one relic in the bag. This one certainly will go in the way of Jeanne and Baloo. Farming transition coming out for Vanderdorf. Spearman on the Musha. I love this unit by the Japanese, by the way, because of course, without the Onmusha, if it was crossbowmen, it'd be a very heavily infantry-based army with lack of movement. The Onmusha gives that little bit of mobility to the Japanese in this army composition. Arballetria being added in though, and that's a concern, I've got to say. The army looking strong here for Baloo. He's got to find a way here, Vanderdorf, to mass up again. The cost-effective trades that Baloo had earlier in the game is really starting to come to the fore now. Vanderdorf does have a good economy rocking and rolling with the farms. Give it another 5-10 minutes if you can survive it. Might be able to fight back quite considerably. And behind this, take a look at the walls coming up. Baloo going to get some farming transitions as well. And it has consecrated the town centre. Bear in mind that it's going to reduce the food cost of those town centres, which is not to be underestimated when you factor in the heavy food cost of the units being produced. Crossbows and knights. I suspect some of the buildings might be consecrated as well. Yeah, 2 of the stables are. On Namusha, good numbers now. They've got to be wary about the Arballetria mass building up. Going out to the deer camp, getting an outpost. Certainly going to need that outpost. Not only for the vision, but also for a place for the villagers to run into. Onimusha need to be microed in. And gets to the point of the game where the samurai are starting to appear, and the samurai going to tank on the front line, loses the katana bannerman. And this should be a good hold by Vanderdorf. It's a bit tricky when you factor in the crossbow or the arballetry there. Samurai will get picked apart, and all the meanwhile, these fights, by the way, Jeanne is getting valuable XP. 3 relics in play for Jeanne. Getting the sacred sites as well, which becomes a little bit oppressive, I gotta say. Because whilst Vanderdorf does have more villages, it's certainly compensated for Baloo by the sacred sites. Shinto Priest just trying something a bit cheeky. Starting to build up a little bit. Oh, does have a Yorishiro that could be used somewhere. Now bear in mind you can actually shift click your floating gate landmark. Just like with waypointing, you can actually shift click them onto a building, and the Yorishiro will be deposited when the Shinto priest pops out with them. Of course, it will take some time for players to figure mechanics out like that. And he might have just missed it, because there's a lot of action coming on the front just now. Onimusha needs to be careful not to get in range of the arballetry here. That will rip them apart, especially with the upgrades coming in. Balanced projectiles. Japanese are going to get the veteran seat for the Honor Bageisha. Okay, interesting. Maybe a bit of a tech switch. Adding in them a couple of them, sprinkling them. If they get a melee fight, that could actually change the fight quite well. Adding another surface area of attack for the Japanese on a straight up melee fight. Looks like it's going to make a bit of a move for the middle, but take a look at this red palace coming out for Baloo. There's incredible economy, incredible macro. I think a lot of it in part by the fact he had 2 sacred sites and 3 relics. With the red palace coming up in the middle of the map, going to give him a lot of control. Should be able to protect that gold vein somewhat. That gold vein is going to be key. Oh, a couple of samurai in the south, but the knights will deal with that well. And the Imperial Age coming in now. That might be the go time for the Japanese. When you do tech up to the next stage, it's often when you're most vulnerable. But I tell you what, Jeanne d'Arc is not going to be vulnerable in this spot. Not at all. Not with the red palace being there. Vanderdorf starting to stonewall. I think it's got to be the play, right? He's got a decent standing army, but he's got to find a way to get to the Imperial Age himself. Because it doesn't really feel like a Castle Age push will work for him. We'll have to see how he approaches this. Getting gold in the north, which is... I like this play, by the way, because he needs that gold. And whilst he's, floating quite a bit, ultimately, gold is always a pressure point in the game, and you want to get it while you can. They keep in a nice spot. I think the Guild Hall, actually, by the way, I think that was the landmark. Was that the landmark? I'm pretty sure. Jeanne went up with the Guild Hall. It was indeed. And I didn't check it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was on stone. Because whilst it has nerfed recently, I think it's 50% less stone coming in from the Guild Hall now. It's such a strong landmark to get that gold. That stone, rather, to get keeps. Behind this, well, Tanegashima, landmark, gunsmith. It's going to be built by the Japanese by 26 villagers. Now, by the way, whilst we did say that the samurai would be countered by the knights, when you factor in Odachi, they'll actually be taking a decent trade because this gives a bonus +4 damage against... well, no, it won't because it's infantry. For a second there, I thought it was for all units. It's not, it's just infantry. So scrap that. What it will do damage against is the champions, though, if it comes up in time. But that's a lot of arbalistry. I'm not sure I like this switch into elite samurai. There's just so many arbalistry there. It might be Yumi Ashigari the better option. The trouble with that, of course, is the knights. Uses the Holy Wrath ability on those spearmen. Anabagesha adding into the fight. But again, with Gambesons, I'm not sure if he's got it, but if he does, Arbalistria will tank well. But that's a massive raid there by the knights. And even with the Shogunate Castle, the knights will tank heavily. Villagers scrambling for their lives. A lot have gone down so far. 21 in the game so far. Vanderdorf being raided heavily. He's losing the fight in the middle. Losing the fight back at home. And this is an issue. He's got to find a way to stem the bleeding. Spearmen are heading that position. But bear in mind, whilst villagers are being slain, what this allows Numidan to do, Baloo, is to push in the middle. The army has to head back home there for Vanderdorf. Has to deal with this. And that forces a loss of map control in the middle. Slowly but surely, Baloo pushing out. And I would love to see Baloo follow this up with a keep. Whilst he's established that control. You've got to make it count when you've got it. And now's the time to do it. One mechanism, though, that might stop that is indeed the Ozutsu. They have been nerfed a little bit in terms of their armor. But they still are a powerhouse for the late game Japanese. Gonna snipe out a monk in the south. 3 sacred sites. Not capped just yet. The one on the west being held there by a Shinto priest. This is not to be overlooked, by the way. This is a hero unit at the moment. Because if it's a sacred site timer activated, that puts Vanderdorf in a much more tricky situation. Mangonel comes out. Would it deploy? Would it get a fight? Would it get shot? It might just. He does get a shot on top of it, but doesn't lose as many as he would have wanted. There, Vanderdorf, we didn't kill as many as we would have wanted. He's backing away now. Baloo taking the hint. He's respecting the Mangonel, and rightly so. In the south, trying to deny the walls going up. It does for now, but I'm sure the village will be back out there. I don't think Baloo recognizes this situation on the west side. Looking to cap the east side sacred site now. Trying to get a keep forward. Wait, that is optimistic. A bit of a standoff. The elite man at arms saying, no, you can't build here. Village, oh, no. Delete it. Please delete it. Oh, he kept it. Okay, deleted it. Thankfully. Starting to push her forward now. Divine Restoration comes out for Jeanne, helping the fight. Champions on the front as well. There are a lot of them, by the way. 7 of them, I think. Oh, these are man-at-arms, actually. But the elite man-at-arms takes out the Mangonel, which is absolutely huge. The cannon on the field as well for Jeanne d'Arc. And has to back away. Look at the massive dead blue bodies. The samurai, just not the right choice here. Too many ability, yeah. Trying to tank on the front line, to allow the Azutsu to do their work. It just isn't working out for Vanderdorf. The push coming in for Baloo, but there's definitely enough time for a tech switch, potentially, for Vanderdorf. He's got to find a solution against this number of arbalistry. Armoured units won't be it. Does have a springle being built and repaired. Cannon heading back here for Jeanne. But take a look at the gold income and the gold resources for Baloo. He took out this 8,000 gold vein. It's almost done. Well, just over halfway. It's taking the middle one as well. Yeah, this is an issue for Vanderdorf. I've got to say, the 2 gold veins, the 8,000 gold veins being in position of Jeanne is really hurting him. And I love this attention to detail, by the way. A lot of players might be thinking, well, look, he's floating so much gold. Like, why is Baloo doing that? It's very purposeful. He needs to soak up as much of gold on the map as possible. It's contested, right? If he loses position of the gold, he'll know that he's gathered most of it. And so with every second that passes, Vanderdorf is fighting for a territory in the middle, which is diminishing in value. Man-at-Arms tanking the front line, going to be engaged against the Samurai. Ozutsu on the back line. But those crossbows getting so much damage on the Samurai. Even the Bannerman isn't enough to help this situation. Onibigesha coming out to fight and assist. Man-at-Arms tanking. And this is a great play by Jeanne. She's moving up. She is at tier 4 now. Has got a lot of XP. Managed to get there in good timing. Cannon on the front. Onimusha rather. Dwindling in numbers. Ozutsu building up in numbers. Katana Bannerman heading further forward again. A new one pops out. It's a good pushback. A lot of it coming down to the Ozutsu. Wait, is the Sacred Site on the west side still capped by that Shinto Priest? It's such a hero unit. Does have the East Sacred Site though. Oh, gonna be trying to place by oh, he doesn't know this has been taken. I think he... Yeah, wait. There was a resource. There was stone, but it's not there anymore. We talked about it earlier in the cast, how important it was to do that, and it just shows you now how important that really was. Tries to get a keep there. Oh, there's knights there. He deletes the keep. Wait, did he delete it? I feel like that was shot down. Either way, he's only got 1,000 stone in the bank. Ozutsu need to get away from those knights if he can. Holy Wrath ability comes out once again for Numadan. A lot of Bannermen dying on the front lines. They're trying to lead the army to a victory. It's just so challenging with this number of arbaletiers, yeah. Finding it difficult to find a solution to it. Bloodlines coming in. That's going to make the situation even worse, but Baloo is finding it difficult to push in with that number of Ozutsu. The west side is now spotting the Shinto Priest. Going to kill him with villagers. Get access to that sacred site. Forward production for Vanderdorf, which I like, by the way. A lot of people might feel, why are you getting forward production? Well, 2 reasons. Going to be reinforcing that army quickly, but also, even if he is pushed from this position, he will have some time, because of course the enemy might be convinced to try and take the production buildings down. He's going to fight with the villagers, committing. Going to try and get the cannon built down, but Holy Wrath ability comes out for Jeanne, takes out a lot of the villagers and doesn't get a single cannon. Has been repaired, and that was a commitment, Vanderdorf. He tried something, didn't quite work in the end. Keep going on that southern sacred site, on the east sacred site rather. Stonewall's coming up. He's going to try and stop the flood of villagers coming in. They're going to break through with just 1 tile, and they're going to move forward. He's going to get another keep, isn't he? That's rough. Ozutsu going to take the keep out quickly though. Oh, trade coming up for Vanderdorf. I don't hate it. He's going to need gold eventually. I'll tell you what, who doesn't need gold? Baloo. 7,000 gold in the bank. Gets to keep up with his own. But that's going to go down pretty quickly. Villagers back away. That's a lot of villagers. I've got to say, a lot of idle time. But he's going to establish a presence with the keep. He's heading his position on the east side now. Baloo senses a bit of a fight in the right side, and he wants to pressure here instead in the middle. Walls coming up on the west. Going to buy him a bit of map control on the west side, but not a lot of resources. Going to need to keep the trade alive, and I think that's the focus now for Baloo. He wants to deny the trade as much as possible. All villagers coming in from the back. They're going to snipe out one of the cannons. Snipe out possibly a second, and I don't hate that. It takes out expensive siege units. Oh, he keeps that one alive. Just too many units fighting underneath the keep in the end. So Ozutsu are still getting good value. He's going to take out the cannon in the end, thankfully, after that commitment. That's a lot of Ozutsu. Holy moly. 22 so far. Should take that keep out very quickly, even with the villagers repairing. Horsemen coming out, trying to get close, but that's a lot of spearmen. Spearman Ozutsu might be an option here. Holy Wrath ability comes out for Jeanne once again. And villagers having to back away. Ozutsu moving left side. Baloo struggling to make a sustained push at this point. The resource bank is looking healthy. Going to raid instead with horsemen. That's a problem. He's going to have to deal with that. Vanderdorf has got to find a solution for that. And it might just be to get the spearmen rallying back home. But that does harm the push forward. Speaking of which, it's actually going quite deep onto that woodline potentially. But there's quite a few champions. couple of Onabagation fighting as well. Horsemen going to go directly onto the farming economy, but there's a Shogunate castle. That's not where they want to be. They're going to need to find another place to raid. They won't survive for long. Sean might even take this fight, but there's a lot of spearmen. Wants to back off for now. Artillery on the west side. Might cut off a little bit of those Ozutsu if it gets close, but splash damage is going to do well. Jeanne does fall. And this is a fight that Vanderdorf will win. 82 military versus 52. He's getting a big push. It's something that the Japanese can do quite well. The trade is up and running. And a decent number of them too. 12 of them so far. We'll keep that gold income coming in. The gold income for the Japanese, certainly more than what there is for Jeanne. Oh, there's Zutsu. Going to take out... Holy smokes, they do a lot of damage. Can he take out the Red Palace though? There are villagers repairing, I think, on the other side. I don't know. This is definitely a big dive. I mean, the Spearman might look to take out the torch damage as well. Oh, but he's riding into problems. Yeah, he's committed, but he's going to lose a lot of the Zutsu. No meat shield there and Blaze, the horseman diving on top of that. And the damage outfit, the Red Palace, dealing out so much damage. He committed so much, but he had to give up so much. He doesn't get it in the end. The Palace stays alive. Repairs coming out in clutch. And that's so unfortunate for the Japanese. Just didn't get it in time. That could be a critical moment in the game. The army, though, still flooding out there for Vanderdorf. He's spending everything he's got. He's got a strong economy. A lot of villagers did go down there for the Jeanne d'Arc, and that's actually something that Numidar needs to address. Vanderdorf, though, he might not know about it, but he's in a good spot in terms of economy, at least. At least in terms of the numbers. He needs to get the bank of resources up, though. He's struggling on that gold still. The trouble with the gold issue, because it's gone for traders, obviously you have to have a bit of investment in gold, and so there's a little bit of a window when you're out of gold. But once it does get up and running in line, he'll be okay. He's getting some outposts as well, trying to get the value, vision, but also aggression. That is well spotted by Jeanne. She's going to deal with that pretty soon. And you can see that little bit of lag, right? Like Vanderdorf, it does have full population capacity, but doesn't have bank of resources. And it's because of the delay being caused by the trade. Having to pump a lot of resources into that. But it's certainly worth it into the late game. Decapping that central sacred site with a Shinto priest. And I think where the Japanese are incredibly strong is the farming economy, right? These farms are 75% efficiency boosted. 69 villagers on the food. The French, though, they're no slouches in farms, but they, obviously they're not going to be able to keep up in that sense. Similar villager counts on food, but a good 650 odd more food coming in per minute. Oh, going to be riding in with a couple of elite samurai, a couple of spearmen. Looking to check the trade, I think, at this point. I mean, he's going to lose a lot of army here, Vanderdorf. The question is, will he be able to get value out of it before they do die? I'm not so sure, by the way. Bear in mind, these keeps are absolutely beastly. I say keeps, but they're town centers, but they're practically keeps. 9 times 7, when you factor in the Red Palace bonus they get, it is absolutely huge. Oh, ramps coming out. Will be taken care of. There we are, the arbalist in placement. Makes things challenging to dive. Jeanne now with a blast cannon. Well, Vanderdorf mounting a response is going to be mounting a response soon again, and a second wave. But take a look at the resource count. It's actually bonkers for Baloo. He's got plenty of gold, right? It just feels like earlier on the gold he banked up, it's just coming in clutch, right? He's only getting 300 gold per minute, but I mean, he's saving it. He does still have a bit of gold there, 4,000 gold for a rainy day. Might not need it. He's trying to snipe Jeanne as possible, but isn't able to get close, and those Zutsu need to be careful. The horseman diving in. Samurai going to poke and prod against some of them, and Zutsu, they do deploy. They give it life for now. Katana Bannerman, they're all dead on the front lines, and all of a sudden, Baloo, this could be a big push soon. 64 military versus 43. Of course, Vanderdorf did lose quite a bit in that attempted raid. Full population capacity, though, 200. He's getting a siege engine, too. That will be a problem for the arbaletier. Heading into almost the 36-minute mark, and the trading should be well online for Vanderdorf. 29 traders. It's looking strong, trying to get the keep down on the west side. Villagers coming to torch those down, but actually, we've said it again, how it's not necessarily bad. I mean, to be fair, actually, he doesn't really have that much wood in the bank. If he did, it would be a different story, because he's keeping a lot of villagers idled. Azutsu deploy, Spearman on the front line. Mangonel deploys again on the Arbaletier, yeah, but they're on spread formation, so that'll be fine for now, but he can't take too many hits. The Royal Cannon is going to try and snipe out the Mangonel if it can. And the Mangonel does get a shot. The Mangonel does go down. Azutsu still in good numbers. The front line, though, they are perishing there. But the Japanese, again, it comes down to the Arbaletier. It feels like that's such a hero unit for the French at the moment. They're getting so much value in this game. They've done so much damage. It feels like it is the MVP. Azutsu are not in good numbers. They're having to retreat back home. The Man-at-Arm's going to dive soon. And will the Japanese be able to hold this push? There are rams. That's the key bit of detail, by the way. That's going to take a lot of infrastructure, especially with the cannon in play too. Azutsu moving forward. There's a lot of horsemen. If the horsemen dive on top of that, Holy Wrath ability gets right on top of the Azutsu. Great play there by Jeanne. And if the Azutsu go down, you feel that's going to be very difficult for Vanderdorf to hold on. This might be it, ladies and gentlemen. The push coming in hard. The units really popping forward. Take a look at that, 85 versus 36. Vanderdorf, he's struggling. He's got a lot of economy. A lot of it is traders, but that's not what's going to save him. He's going to need military, but he doesn't have all that many on the field. And the production on the front lines, if that gets taken out, he's not going to be able to replenish that army. Looks like villagers coming out. They're going to try and torch down the Royal Cannon, but Arbaletier camping on top of that. He does commit. Villagers go down, though. Then they can't make it there close enough. There's a lot of choke points which actually suit the Arbaletier in many ways, because the units coming out of the barracks, they're melee units. They have to get close, but they can't get through to the Arbaletier backline. This is a great play by Blue. Numadan, he is absolutely sweltering. Those units are popping out, and he can't replenish his army. Vanderdorf, he can't keep this up. He's not going to have the resources to. Holy Wrath ability comes out once again, and Vanderdorf struggling on food. He's not able to keep up. Royal Cannon going to take out the production buildings, and every unit that pops out, they're getting sniped. Although he's building up a massive Azutsu, that might help. The Arbaletier, those numbers aren't looking as healthy as it once was. He's holding firm, the Japanese, trying to keep that trade route alive for as long as possible. This seems like a really big push for Baloo. Behind this, will he solidify? Will he get the sacred sites? He keeps trickling in those units, and he's going to keep building on. The momentum certainly in his favor. Going to start taking out the traders as well. That's going to cut off important gold income. And certainly with the rams. Yeah, 2 more rams. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Numadan, he takes the victory on Dry Arabia. Jeanne d'Arc triumphing over the Japanese. What a great game of Age of Empires 4. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and see you next time.